welcome to the SARA Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. This is the Race1.US Irwindale 150 at Irwindale Speedway. If things are looking a little bit interesting, a little bit odd to you, yes, we are on the inner portion of the racetrack here tonight. This is the shortest pavement track outside the legend tracks here on the surface, or on the service, excuse me. And you're going to see these super late model drivers do action around this joint, and it's tight, and it's going to be pretty hard to pass, most likely, but we'll see what ends up happening here. It's considered like a small Oxford, and you know, the guys that were fast in Oxford are probably going to be fast here tonight as well, as Jim Caudell Jr. is one of those guys that's generally fast at Oxfords, and he's currently P1 on the practice board. Now, before we get into anything else, I do want to let you know we are experiencing some technical difficulties, so if the cast is seeming a little bit choppy, it is not you, it's not your internet provider, and we just have some technical difficulties. As I stated, we're going to try to work through those and see if we can get anything ironed out. It may not, so we do apologize for that portion of it. Like I said, we do have 150 laps here tonight for the Race1.US 150 at Irwindale. You were with us a couple of weeks ago. We weren't on last week as iRacing was down doing some maintenance. But a couple of weeks ago, we were at Richmond International Raceway, where Colin Allman came away with his 6th career SARA win. 81 laps in doing so for the Midwest Power Source 110. He started 6th and pretty much dominated the race, was super fast going around that joint. Jimmy Mullis was 2nd. Jim Caudell Jr. was 3rd. DK, David Kokorian 4th, and 5th was Ryan Matthews. Your hard charger during that race was Kyle Souza, plus 16. Now currently, Jimmy Mullis is leading the points, 33 points up over Jim Caudell Jr. And David Kokorian, Ryan Matthews, and Brendan Wilkinson is going around your top 5 in the points right now. Now we do have 21 cars here tonight. For tonight's race, it's a smaller field than normal. A lot of guys didn't make the trip out to the West Coast for this inner portion. We do have 2 drop weeks here in the Sim Auto Racing Association for the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. So this is, a lot of these guys are going to go ahead and take their drop week this week. Next week, you're not going to want to miss that, as we do have the SARA's 4th annual H&H Sign Supply Fall Brawl Spectacular, and that's at Five Flags Speedway. And last night for the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series, they were at Five Flags, where those guys in the Contender Series got to do a little practice race, even though it did count for points and everything, but they were able to get a lot of laps under their belt, 150 laps to be exact. And there was a couple guys that came away with the victories there, some good racing. Devin Morgan, who's racing here tonight as well in the 112 car, came away with the victory last night. And Andrew Graham, if I'm not mistaken, came away with the victory in that 2-split race. Like I said, we have 150 laps here tonight, and there's going to be some great racing that's going on. I did some practice laps here with my team to try to figure this place out just a little bit, and it's a pretty interesting little track. A lot of room. The groove may move up. Cars tend to get a little bit loose here on entries. You're trying to really get it turned through the center. We'll see how things end up playing out. And we'll go ahead and bring in the league and series admin here, and Matt Rolfe, get a word with him. Matt, thanks for joining me up here in the booth here. Sorry to interrupt your practice laps here. You're currently P7 on the practice board, so it looks like you got a decent piece out there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your race car here tonight, what you expect?
Yeah, so it's been a while since we've run the inner configuration here at Irwindale. The outer configuration has been at least a favorite of mine for a number of seasons since that new surface model came out. But since we normally run it every season, we thought we'd switch it up this time around and go with the inner configuration. It's probably been a couple years at least since we ran it, so I don't really know what to expect yet. Everyone in practice is kind of bottom feeding, and they're all really, really close in lap times. About 2/10 is all that's really separating most of the field. So, you know, we got lower cars than we normally have, so that's a good thing, which means hopefully we'll get some green flag laps in, and then we'll be able to tell what the track's going to do, because we haven't run it in a while, so we don't know. But yeah, car feels all right. I think as long as I can keep it underneath me and stay out of trouble, I should get a decent finish out of it. But again, it's a big unknown here tonight.
Yeah, as I stated earlier, this track's kind of similar to Oxford Plains there a little bit. You don't have the abrupt curb there just to your left, so some of these guys are going to be down there on that yellow line. I know it can be a fine line down there as far as gaining time and actually cut the course a little bit, so that's something we have to keep an eye on. I'm pretty sure you instructed everyone to really not push the limits on that so we don't have to make any calls afterwards. Now, after this week, after this interesting race this week, we have our big Fall Brawl Spectacular. I touched on that just a little bit. Is there any more that you can, clue us in on? I talked about, when it is and everything.
Sure. So the Fall Brawl is our biggest event of the year. It's our 4th annual. Big thanks to H&H Sign & Supply for coming on board for the 3rd straight year with that. Again, it's our biggest event of the year. 250 laps at Five Flags Speedway for the super late models. Got a lot of money on the line. There's, I believe, over $600 in sponsorship money just for the super late models, plus another. Right now we're at 58 entries. So as long as we stay around that same number, we're going to be pretty close to $600 in entry fees. So we're right around that $1,200 mark just for that race, total purse money and prize money. And then we've got the modifieds and the dirt street stocks joining us as well next week. So yeah, it's a fun event. It's a big event. We got a lot of guys signed up for the super late models, so qualifying night will be a little hectic, but overall the week is pretty fun. No points on the line or anything. And then we take a week after that to recuperate. So it's it's our big time of the season. I'm excited for it. And I'll be probably happy when it's over, but for now we're really looking forward to next week.
Yeah, it's always fun to go out there and, everyone puts their best foot forward for that race. As you stated, there's a lot of prize money on the line, and a lot of people spend time on it. That's why we end up taking the week off, like you said, to recoup and maybe back away from the track there just a little bit. I won't hold you up here too much longer. You go out there and get a few more practice laps as practice is winding down. And with any luck finishing the top 3, we'll talk to you at the end of the night.
Yeah, I hope so. And just real quick, thanks to race1.us for coming on board for tonight's race. And as always, Sim Marketing Solutions for being the presenting sponsor of the series. So yeah, maybe we'll talk to you later.
All right, bud. Good luck.
Thanks.
Yep. Beansy brought those guys up. Let's go ahead and bring up our series sponsors, give these guys some love. You got the Sim Marketing Solutions. As Matt stated, they are the series sponsor here for us tonight. H&H Sign Supply, who has been a sponsor here for this league as a whole for a while now. Like I said, they sponsored the Fall Brawl there. It's the 4th year, so appreciate that. Davis Chassis Works, who sponsors our Contender Series on Wednesday nights. If you want to come out here and join us, that's where you got to start for the super late models, is the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series. And if you run well enough there and you can come away with some wins, you get an invite up here, the invite only Sim Marketing Solution Super Series. Hats Pride Leather and Sheepskin, where they have their Hats Pride head-to-head throwdown. It's actually going to be row 1, so whoever comes out on top from row 1 will come away with a little bit of extra prize money here towards the end of the night, and we'll let you know who that is shortly. Got Midwest Power Source, Callaway Investments, who sponsors our Modified Series on Tuesday nights. Race1.us, who's sponsoring here tonight. Sponsors to Sim Racers. And they do a lot of things for them so that they can ensure that they receive the maximum benefit for your exposure to the sim racing community. So go check those guys out on Facebook. And like I said, for tonight, for the race1.us, go check those guys out on Facebook as well. They got some pretty cool throwback T-shirts and stuff that you can get from them. And looks like they got a special going on, 3 for 33. So definitely go check it out. They got some cool shirts there. Practice is wrapping up currently. Like I said, Jim Caudell Jr., Jimmy Mollison, Colin Allman, your top 3 on the practice boards. You got some guys there behind them that you should definitely look out for. Jared Boris, who's up there as well, he had a pretty good piece there in the practice, and showing it here once again in the race practice. Track is slicking up here. It's 109 degrees. It's pretty warm, so these guys are going to be slipping and sliding a little bit. Air temperature is at 78 degrees. So, these guys are going to be looking for grip. You may see them move up on track just a little bit. And like Matt said, with this shorter field, we only got 20 cars that have taken practice time. The one that has not yet is Brandon Wilkinson. He's a Sim Marketing Solutions driver. He's from Pawtucket, Connecticut. Had a good battle with him last night in the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series, and not too sure if he's going to make the grid or not, but let these guys grid up, and we'll go ahead and we'll bring up the grid here as soon as they do. Give them about another second or so. Got the grid up here. Dallas Pataska will be leading everyone to green, and Ryan Matthews is going to be on the outside of him. Those guys are going to be running for the Hides Pride head-to-head throwdown here, so whoever finishes ahead of each other, I mean, they could be last and next to last, but whoever finishes ahead of each other will come away with the extra prize money. Jim Caudell Jr. and David Corey are going to be in the second row. Tim Bills and Jimmy Maltz is going to be in row 3. Row 4 is going to be Jared Boris and Ryan Doucette. Row 5 is Colin Allman and Chris Canfield. Starting 11th is in 38 cars Michael Goddard. Just on the outside of him, like I said, the 56 car is Brandon Wilkinson, so he is going to go ahead and grid up here. Guy we spoke with, league admins, Matt Rolfe, and 13th and 14th is Gareth Gonder. 15th is Brian Helm, and 16th is Drew Krybeck. In the 88 cars, Matthew Eddy starting 17th, and 18th is 61 of Adam Joslin. Justin Warner in the 96 is 19th, and Devin Morgan, who won last night in the Contender Series, is starting 20th. Starting last, but certainly not least, is the old Wiley vet, and Ty Spearman. We'll see what he's going to do. He's going to try to probably get that Hard Charger award. So that's going to do it for our grid here. Like I said, it's going to be on Dallas Pataska. See what he ends up doing here on this start. Field's going to back it up just a little bit because the pace car exits out of turn 4. So just not to throw anyone off here. We'll end up seeing what they're going to let them pull out here just a little bit. It's going to be on Dallas Pataska. Get everyone back going for this green flag run. We are green, green, green. Pataska's going to go ahead and jump out to the lead here. Matthews is going to stay on the outside. Caudell Jr. is going to look the inside of him coming out of turn 2. These guys are side by side battling for second. David Kikorian is in 4th. Then Bills and Jimmy Maltz are going to round out your top 5 here early on as Maltz is going to, Caudell is going to go ahead and take over P2 in the 1 car. Matthews in the 51 is going to fall back to 3rd. These guys are going to go ahead and everyone's going to try to get to the bottom like Matt said. Track temperature's up to 104. It's going to get higher than that. These guys stay green as everyone is starting to get in single file. Caudell starting to put a little pressure on Dallas Pataska. You see he's running just a little bit lower line, and he's looking underneath Dallas Pataska here now. About to have a battle for the lead, or new leader. As we do have a new leader officially, it's the 1 car of Jim Caudell Jr. Ryan Matthews is going to try to fill that void underneath Dallas Pataska. Pataska throws into 3 just a little bit. 3 car's not able to keep it down there. He's going to fall back to P3. As I stated earlier in the broadcast, Jim Caudell Jr. was fastest in practice. Doesn't always mean anything, but he is fast around Oxford. I'm pretty sure it's probably close to the same setup. Right now, early on, he's doing work. Made his way up to P1. Trying to pull away, but Ryan Matthews is hanging on to the tail end of him. Of 150. Go back here to Michael Goddard there in the 38 car. He's got Jared Morris on the outside of him, 46. 56 is going to look under Jared. That's Brandon Wilkinson. Those guys are side by side. Right now the top line's not there. Morris is going to try to maintain out there. Hopefully he doesn't burn the right front off of it. So back here to the 81 of Garrett Gonder. He's underneath Brian Helm. Helm's going to let him have that position. Gonder's all over the rear of Devin Morgan. Morgan slips up a little bit. Gonder's going to get underneath him, show him his nose. He's going to get the drive off in turn 2. They're side by side going into 3. Morgan's holding his own there on the outside a little bit. Looks a little bit loose. Counter steering a lot. Oh, we got one spinning down the inside, the 61 of Adam Joslin. 100% sure what happened there. He may have got a little help coming out of 4. Go back here to the SARA TV instant replay to see exactly what happened as he had Ty Spearman behind him. Brian Helm at 26 on the outside of him. Like him and Helm kind of get hit doors. And then Helm gets him in the right rear. Loops him around. Spearman does a great job of missing it. Gosselin did a good job of locking it down as well. So just got a little bit of help. Bunting around, brought out our first caution here tonight. Jim Caudell is currently leading the way here tonight. He's led 11 of 15 laps so far. Still a super long way to go. I know drive off here. Well, there's a lot of keys to get around this joint from what I felt in practice for myself. And obviously you want the car to enter well into the turn. Our team was fighting a little bit loose entry, which I think some other people were as well, but you definitely wanted to cut the center and you need to drive off. So you needed to do everything basically. But I think the most important thing later on in this race is going to be the drive off as they double up here. We're going to come green. And you get on the chip here pretty quick and pretty hard, but it's easy to spin those rear these 600 plus horsepower Super Late models. Going to be on Jim Caudell Jr. to bring him back to green. There's a restart box here tonight, being the pace car pulls off out of 4. So he's going to have to go in that restart box.
Green flag, green flag.
We're back to green, green, green. Caudell gets off to a good restart. Tim Bills is going to try to shove it down in there for P3. He's not going to be able to do it as Matthews is going to pull in front of him. Jimmy Mullis, series point leaders on the outside of Tim Bills. He's going to try to take P3 away from him. Mullis is hanging strong there on the outside, but we got another caution. Like Justin Warner, Ty Spearman's facing the wrong direction. Car doesn't look too beat up. Go ahead and pull up the SARA TV instant replay here once more. Looks like he's already getting the bumper there from Warner. I believe that's Warner, yep, 96 car. Just going to show his nose. And just slide up into Spearman there a little bit. Go ahead and get checked up. Little bumper tag. And that's that. So Warner actually got the worst end of that. He's got some front end damage, right front damage. Spearman's going to come away scot-free, so be a little damage in his door, but that's no foul on these cars. Right, our second caution here, back-to-back cautions. Things can get stacked up, as we stated. Everyone's going to be fighting for the bottom, and but sometimes you just have to take your lumps and fight on the outside. We've seen Jimmy Mullis do that, and what happened with him here? Now he's starting P3, he gets the inside again. So sometimes it's good to fight there up top. If you do so, have to get a caution. Now all of a sudden you're on the inside. Sometimes you guys take your lumps. B&J, Energy Services. Bring us back to green. Start he gets off to. Back to green, green, green. He gets a good restart. So does Jimmy Mullis. Mullis is going to go up there and probably get P2 as they come out of turn 2. Yep. Ryan Matthews going to fall back to P3. Not necessarily, like I stated there, just not necessarily a bad thing here at this point. But these two guys here, and Jim Caudell Jr. and Jimmy Mullis, were the ones that were stinking up the show the last few times we were at Oxford Plains. It looks like they're going to try to replicate those results here tonight at Irwindale Inter. Paul Ullman's back there running side by side next to Dallas Pataska for P4. He'll go ahead and get that spot. Pataska back to P5. You got Goddard and Tim Bills, who didn't get off to a great restart there apparently. As he started 4th, he's on the outside. Can't find him 10th. He's doing exactly probably what he should be doing. He's just battling hard on the outside here with Goddard. able to squeeze in here in front of Canfield. He'll do that. He's way up the track, a little bit loose on entry. There's no out of bounds here on the outside. If he goes too far, he's going to go into the barrels. Right now, Tim Bills is going the wrong way. Now Devin Morgan's going to try to work his way around him. Ryan Doucette's trying to look in the middle. 77 car, it's a pretty bold strategy. I don't know if he can do 3 wide here, but if Bills goes up too much higher, Doucette may not have a choice and fill that void. I don't know if you can see it on from Draw's point of view, but up here from the it's Brandon Wilkinson is sideways, gets a little bump there from Gonder. Gareth Gonder in the 81, he saves it. It's a great save there by Wilkinson. These guys are loose on entry. That's what I was speaking of when we were fighting in practice. And that's one thing you do not want here at this track is pretty much counter steering as you get in. And Gonder gets into the left rear. Wilkinson moves him up a little bit, and they hit again. I have a feeling this may not be done with. Wilkinson is extremely loose. Now Jared Morris is underneath him. Gets into his door. And Wilkinson just came out. He needs a break here. Probably got that right rear pretty hot, pretty mad right now. He doesn't have much grip in it. Reason for our first caution there. And Adam Jocelyn, he's just right there behind Wilkinson now on 61. These guys are starting to get single file here once more. Not much going up here, going on with the lead. As everyone is single file here now. Go back up here to the leaders. Mullis has been hanging around Mullis here, Mullis has been hanging around Caudell. Pretty much the same gap, about 3/10. And Mullis is probably just riding right now. Saving your stuff is going to be key. You definitely want those rear tires to stay underneath you as much as possible. Let's run lap 37 of 150 here. Now you see Mullis is a little bit loose coming out too. On board here for just a couple of laps. Won't take long as these guys are clicking off pretty much 15-second flat times. Go on board here with Jimmy Mullis. See what he's seeing, see how he's getting around this joint. You get the lefts right there on the yellow line and go lower if we allow them. We ask them to pretty much, you can get your lefts below the yellow line, but no more than that. Having to two-step it there just a little bit. Playing with the throttle. Nice and smooth there coming out of 4. See, him and Caudell have slightly different lines. Caudell's getting his car into the turn, and then it's turning center and much driving straight off, and Mullis kind of has one where it's almost a continuous arc. That's how you get around this joint. These guys are doing it better than anyone else as they're over 1.5 seconds there from third, so these guys are pulling away up front. Like I said, they click through these laps really quick. Talking 15-1s for the leaders and some of the faster guys there in the back, as everyone's almost running the same lap times here currently. High 15-1s, low 15-2s. You got Matthew Eddy there back here in P20 on the 15-26. Just give you a comparison, Jim Caudell Jr. last lap in the 15-22. Back here to Matt Rolfe. P15 is on the inside of Adam Jocelyn, the 61. Jocelyn's way out in no man's land. He was able to work. Able to make it work, and more power to him as they hit there just a little bit. Matt's got a lot of damage on his front end. It can cause some handling issues. Matt wasn't too happy with the car in practice, so me and the other teammate Jared Morris kind of liked what we had. Similar setup, just different driving styles. You guys are still battling side by side, and kudos to Adam Jocelyn there on the outside for making that work. Able to get down on the door of Matt. Yeah, that nose damage is probably hurting Matt from letting him mainly from center off, getting that nose pinned down. And we're probably pretty tight on him, if I had to guess. Back up here to Colin Allman, 67. And Dallas Pataska are having a good battle here for fourth. Just out of view there is the 88 car, Matthew Eddy. Like I said, he's P20, 5 laps down. I'm not 100% sure what happened to him or if he just connected late or whatever, but he's one of the faster cars on the track. You see, he may end up catching Colin Allman. And unfortunately for him, there's a couple of guys that are a lap down in front of him. He needs a lot of cautions to get back on the lead lap. For some lucky dogs, but he has definitely found some speed. He was fast last night as well in the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series. 5 Flag Speedway, having a good run there. So he's definitely found some speed in his race car. Unfortunate break of not being able to connect to this race as quickly as he could have. He may be working his way up to the front based off of lap times. Colin Allman's way up probably in about the second and a half groove here. 67 car. Groove is going out. Matthew Eddy's a little bit higher than him. He's actually running pretty much running similar lap times. Right now, your fastest car on the track that last lap was Jared Morris. He's back in P12. So it shows you, the level of competition here in the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. You got guys up front and the back running similar time, especially around this joint. It's a super small track, so there's not a lot of time to be had. So consistency will be the key to make time, and that's what the leaders are currently doing. They're backing a lot of their times up. While they may not be the fastest every single lap, they're just almost mirroring their lap times where other guys are not. A lot of these guys are extremely loose on entry. Fun to watch them manhandle these cars here a little bit. Getting up on the wheel. Back here to Ryan Doucette in the 77 car. Him and Devin Morgan are having a good battle. Devin Morgan's way up the track. Then this guy won Wednesday night, almost won Monday night in the Race1.us dirt night. And he was one good slide job away from winning that. Won last night, like I said. Davis Chassis Works Contender Series. And here he is right now, battling Ryan Doucette for P6. Apparently Morgan holds that spot, so he's had a hell of a week this week in the Sim Auto Racing Association. Doucette getting a little crossed up there out of 2. Right now, Devin Morgan's hard to pass. This guy, he can get it done. And Ryan Doucette right now is probably getting frustrated and trying to find a way around him. As a lot of these guys probably are at the point. We're in lap 166 of 150. We'll go ahead and go through the field as Jim Wallace is called up here to Jim Caudell. Before we do that, let's go ahead and watch this battle here. You see Mullis has moved up the track. He's definitely taken a huge arc into the turn, taking up a lot of time on Jim Caudell Jr. Coming up on some traffic here. See what happens. That's Drew Kryback in the 12 car just in front of him. Almost all over the left rear there of Caudell. Looks like Kryback's going to stay high here for these leaders. Good on Drew there, staying high and letting these guys go. Got a Christmas themed paint scheme. It's ugly as sin. He should definitely change it, unless that was his goal. Well, this is going to look low there just a little bit, not able to get the drive off of turn 2. Oh, she wanted Drew Kryback to get the hell out of the way. Finally gets past him there. Lost a little bit of time to Caudell. See if he's able to make it back up here. Really let you know what kind of speed he has in his car compared to Jim Caudell. Well, we got our caution here. It's going to be our third one of the night. Looks like it was Warner again. I say again, he was never been actually in a caution yet. It was just him and Ty got into it. Go ahead and pull up the SARA TV instant replay to see what that was all about. It was him and Brandon Wilkinson. He's been loose this whole time. Oh, Warner gets loose, gets a little crossed up coming out of 4. Probably gonna spin here. Yeah, him and Brian Helm got into it there just a little bit. Looked like a racing deal. One was kind of going up a little bit, and the other one's coming down. I had to guess. Warner was chasing his down there after that big slide coming out of 4. Heat up that right rear pretty good. But like I said, it was our third caution. We've had one lead change, and that was when Jim Caudell Jr. got around Dallas Pataska for the lead early on. Currently, Caudell started third, but obviously up 2 spots. Led 71 laps here tonight, 71 of 75. We're halfway there. 150 laps. Currently, Ryan Matthews is winning the Hides Pride head-to-head throwdown. Just on the outside of him on this restart will be Dallas Pataska. Now, it'll be interesting to see if this outside lane is able to hold stronger on this restart. Track temps up to 112, so it's pretty hot. You've seen some guys really arcing it in, and they're already moved up the track. Wallace was able to make it work a little bit. So we'll be able to see if, if anybody can do that or even make a pass on the outside. It is possible, especially if you can stay on that right rear of the guy on the inside and really not let him move up the track out of the turn like he wants to really maintain that drive. The track will cool down here a little bit as these guys are pacing. We're going to have one to go. They're going to go ahead and double it up. Ross is going to tell you to stay to the inside. It's going to delay the start 1 lap. Yeah, I think you got confused where pit road was. It's definitely not there. If you're just joining us, as I stated before, we are having some technical difficulties where the screen may be maybe jumping, maybe freezing a little bit. The audio portion of it's probably fine, so we apologize for that. We're trying to work through it. This is the Steel Marketing Solutions Super Series for the Race1.US 150 at Irwindale Inter. Jim Caudell Jr. has been dominating the race here so far. He's going to bring us back to green. Got Jimmy Mullis in the 40 car on the outside of him. We are back to green, green, green. He gets off to a good restart. Mullis spins the tires a little bit. He's going to take a high arcing entry into 2. If he can stick on the outside, he cannot. As he tries to get the power down, snap loose on him a little bit. Ryan Matthews is going to try to go back down to the inside. Ryan Matthews now battling up here for P2. 03, Chris Canfield there in P4. He's having a heck of a night here. Some of these guys you see that are racing here tonight, and it's often. They'll race in the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series as well. They're eligible for both. And a lot of the times what they learn on Wednesday night, they'll apply here for Thursday nights and run well. Chris Canfield's up to P4, 03 car. Mullis is hanging tough on the outside here. He's extremely loose. Coming out of turn 2. He might have more willpower than he does grip right now. So if you're Jim Caudell Jr., this is what you want to see. Pull away just a little bit. Go back here to Tim Bills. That guy was got all crossed up here out of 2. Like things got tight back there between him and Gonder. Now Jimmy Mullis is back to P4. Not the restart that he wanted. He's going to try to cross up Chris Canfield here, put him back on the outside. Looks like he's going to do it. That was a heck of a move there by Jimmy Mullis. It shows you why he's the point leader. He's a defending champion. Not last season's champion, but the champion nonetheless there 2 seasons ago. This guy knows how to get it done in these race cars. Pro Series driver at that, so he knows how to get it done on the service as a whole. Ryan Doucette and Dallas Pataska back here battling for 5th. Doucette's in 77, Pataska's in at 3. Doucette's the only one that's out there on the outside currently. You got some guys further in the back that are doing it as far as up here towards the front. He's doing his Pataska's loose getting in. Some of y'all that like the Formula D drift stuff, you know this track is where the drift pretty much started here big time in the States. It was at this racetrack, and Dallas Pataska was doing his best impersonation over there, getting into 1 a couple laps ago. Guys are still side by side, and super impressive by Doucette. Super impressed by it right now and how he's able to maintain that. He's actually pulled just a little bit, and he's probably going to stay out there. I think he might end up having Pataska cleared coming out of 2. He's going to do it. Hell, if I was him, just stay on the outside and let that baby rim ride. Got a couple cars off track. Matt Rolfe blew up from that front end damage. Miles Bierman blew up as well. Ty probably put that damn thing in neutral and just floored it. We weren't too happy with this setup there a little bit. Those 2 guys are out. Paul Nallman's currently out. Not too sure what happened to him either. Speaking of Ty, thanks for joining me up here in the booth. I got word that you blew up. My guess was you just neutral dropped that damn thing and just floored it. Maybe wasn't you happy with the setup, but tell us about your car here a little bit while you're out.
Well, I mean, I really spent about 15 or 20 minutes on the setup today to see if I could get something. I wasn't even sure I could race tonight. That's why I started shotgun on the field. But, you know, I mean, the setup wasn't that bad. I mean, it probably could have been better if I spent a little bit more time on it. I think, honestly, I believe I ran the wrong tape, and that's what made it blow up. I think Matt had on 25% tape, got a little bit of damage on the front end. I think that's why his turned over as well.
Yeah, I can confirm he was running 25%, but yeah, he had a bunch of front end damage as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, and yeah, I just probably wasn't getting any air to it, and so it's unfortunate. But you know, this track, as stated here as well, you know, it's a lower car count. tonight, so a lot of guys are taking their drop week, and hell, maybe some of them are even trying to get prepared for next week for the Fall Brawl at Five Flag Speedway. But for tonight, you know, this track is an interesting track, and it can be fun, but it's got its challenges, that's for sure.
Right, exactly. And the last time we were here, like, you know, what was it, maybe a year and a half ago or so, maybe, we had an awesome race here. I mean, it was me and Majeski and I believe Trey Jarrell and Cody Kelly. I mean, it was a knockdown drag out to the finish, which was, I mean, it was probably one of the best races I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, I know with this surface model, especially with this build for the super late models, it makes it challenging, needless to say, to get the power down. And a lot of these guys have been fighting loose in. I'm not too sure if you've been watching it or if you can see it from the driver's seat at all, but a lot of these guys are counter steering, getting into the entry of the corner. It's not exactly what you want to do, especially in these cars, but it's making it for some good entertainment as these guys are pretty much backing it into these turns.
Yeah, it's interesting getting into the corner, that's for sure. Now, I did a few things that kind of helped me a little bit into the corner, but, you know, really, it seems to me that here, I don't know if it's going to transfer to anywhere else, but if you're a little bit loose getting in the corner, it really helps the car turn, as long as you can stop it from spinning before you get to the exit of the corner to get some drive off. But it really helps the car turn to center. So I think it's a so-so situation, so to speak. Okay, do I want to be too loose getting in and be able to turn but no drive off, or do I want to tighten it up a little bit on the entry of the corner and have more drive off? I don't really know what the answer is.
Yeah, it's just watching these leaders here at Jim Caudell. I haven't seen him on entry as much, you know, sullen to the right. So, I mean, it may be a necessary evil to have that thing, like I said, loose on entry so you can get it to cut the center and drive it maybe straight off. But he's definitely got it figured out. It's, you know, these two guys pretty much dominated at Oxford Plains Speedway when we go there. And, you know, it's no surprise that they're up here once again tonight, you know, pretty much stinking up the show between these two.
Yeah, now I was watching lap times before Matt blew up, and Matt was actually faster than the leaders, running that far outside line, cutting it down, cutting the corner off, and coming off probably halfway of the groove in the corners, and then just drifting back up the track. I told Gareth he might want to try that if his car will handle out there, because I think the outside is actually fast, and right now would be the time to do it.
Yeah, Wallace was able to catch up to Caudell there once he moved up top. Now, on that restart, he started up top and he fell back to fourth, so he may be a little gun-shy in doing so here once more. But prior to that last caution, he was up there on the outside, giving Caudell all he wanted for the lead. And another guy that was up there making some pretty good headway up top was Ryan Doucette in the 77, as we see Chris Canfield in the 03 trying the same thing on Ryan Matthews. Around that outside there, there's not as much rubber build up, so a little bit more grip. Track temp's probably a little bit cooler up there as well, as track temp's the highest that it's been this whole race at 113 degrees. So it's pretty slick out there, and you know, usually moving up can help out. But man, it's just tricky around this joint.
Yeah, and it's so hard to get grip out of this car. And when you're talking about the slickness, yeah, when we throw in this particular tire model with the track conditions, you just don't have any drive off at all, which makes it extremely hard to pass, really at any track, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, especially here, you're running a ton of gear because, you know, the straightaways are super short, and when you run that much gear, hell, you pretty much, you know, if you decide to get on it a little bit, you're going to be spinning the rear tires, you're not really gaining too much time. As we have a caution, and if I had to guess, it's going to be Michael Goddard as he's facing the wrong direction. We'll have to see what happens with him here. I'll pull up the SARA TV instant replay. Got the 96 car just behind him. A few bit of bumps here. Justin Warner, as they go down into 3 and 4, and they're both loose as hell. And Warner gets into him and just loops him around. Warner was loose getting into one, had to chase it up into him. Justin Warner wants to be on the broadcast, but not in the sense of what he's been tonight. I believe he got into you, not like calling him out or anything, but I believe you two made a little bit of contact early on there as well, getting into one. Ty.
Yeah, he the previous corner he got into me, and that was okay. And then I went for a wild ride in the next corner, but man, you know what? I don't get upset over this stuff. It's just fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Always next week, and like I said, it's just for fun. This is the majority of us. This is our hobby. We just do out of fun. Pretty much what we're doing this broadcast. Same way. You know, if we weren't doing the broadcast, I'd be out here racing with y'all. So.
Right, exactly. And I know if I would have probably keyed up the mic or whatever, he may want to ask me if I needed a hug.
That's maybe so. As they're doubling up here, beyond Jim Caudell again, we'll see if Moss is able to hang out on the outside here any. It's going to be tough sledding out there, I can tell you that much. Ryan Matthews has been getting off to great restarts. Not doubled up just yet. Just faking me out here.
I tell you what, if the 03 could get past Ryan, I swear Chris has got something. That car is rotating really, really well.
Yeah, we were speaking on him as being up here, and as far as, you know, some of these guys up front are from the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series. He's one of them. And, you know, that series is there to help guys out and make, you know, find a little bit more track time, a little more speed as we're coming back to green. And he's one of them there, and so is Devin Morgan. And so, you know, these guys are benefiting from the extra track time, and his car does look good. We'll see if he's able to get past Ryan Matthews on the outside, as Mullis is on the way outside here. He's going to try to get under. He couldn't do it, though. Get under Jim Caudell Jr., and that's the first time I've seen Caudell loose coming out of the turns. These guys are starting to push. He was running lap 122 of 150 coming down to the end here. And there goes Canfield on the outside, looking on the outside of Mullis.
I'm telling you, it's where he needs to be. That's where the grip's at, and he's found it.
Yeah, well, like you said, well, finding it's one thing, but having the car to agree with it is a completely different one. And he's running out of time, but if this thing stays green, he might have something here for these front two guys. He's gotten around Matthews, and he's trying to find his way around Mullis right now.
He just doesn't need to overdrive it. The car's really good.
That's easier said than done, especially here. Down to Derry, New Hampshire. Trying to give these guys as much as you can. You got the guy who's P2 in points leading. The guy in P2, excuse me, the guy who's leading the race right now is P2 in points. The guy who's second in the race is P1 in points. And Tim Bills is back here. Go back here to him real quick as they've looped it around. There's no caution here yet. It's Drew Kryback. He's going to get it looped around. Tim Bills is going to go up. And now the caution has come out for some reason. Go ahead and go and pull up the SARA TV Instant Replay and see what happened here with Tim Bills. He was next to Ryan Doucette. He's out there where Canfield is, and this might give us a good, you know, explanation as to what's going on. We said Canfield's out there making it look easy. You see Bills there a little bit loose. Doucette's still to the inside of him. And look how big time loose, getting into one. Pretty much drifted through hole 1 and 2, which is impressive enough. And he's going to get loose into 3, and Pataska's going to get into him. And he's going to finally just loop it. I mean, that right rear couldn't take anymore. It collects Jared Borison and Drew Kryback as well. Not too sure if Pataska's going to take that or not, as Bills was pretty much wrecked for the whole lap. Tell you what's going to be interesting enough here, Ty, is Canfield's going to be on the inside now, which I don't know if that's good or bad. But if he can get around Mullis here on this restart, I would love to see what he has for Jim Caudell Jr. What favor this does play into is Jim Caudell's, as we're going to have 20 to go here when they come to the line. And track temps cooling down after these couple of quick cautions. And I think that's where Canfield was excelling at was with the warm, slick track. He's able to use that outside to his advantage and make up a lot of time. When his track cools down, the grip goes back down to the bottom. And I think that's where it's going to help out Mullis and Caudill. Now, in your opinion, Ty, with the track, I personally don't know, and it's not a lot of things that a lot of people talk about, but when they have cautions like this, should the track temp drop as much as it should, or should it kind of maintain where it's at?
I mean, I would think that it's going to drop a little bit, but, I mean, this is such a small track. I would think that it would keep heating it a little bit better, but I think we dropped about 3 degrees, at least, under caution.
Yeah, yep, it has dropped 3 degrees. And you definitely can tell a difference. You know, your car, you can tell a difference in your car as well. We'll see what kind of restart Canfield gets here. He doesn't have the whole track to do what he needs to do. Mullis is going to be outside of Caudill. We're back to green, green, green. Caudill gets a great restart. So does Canfield. Canfield's going to go up here and drove it down into turn 1. He's pushing up just a little bit. Like you stated, Ty, he needs to just make sure he doesn't overdrive it. And, but man, Mullis is tough here on the outside.
I mean, what Chris needs to do is drive it up the track a little bit higher, take that lane away,
oh, he's
kind of like
though.
that. Yep, but he did. That's what he's supposed to do. Take the line away. I mean, don't wreck the guy, but move him up a little bit.
Yeah, he's up to P2 here. Let's see if he can run down Caudill. Now, Caudill's almost out to a half-second lead. With 15 to go at the line. Oh, he's loose.
Drove it in too hard.
Yeah, Mullis is going to go ahead and take that spot. And, you know, as I stated a couple of times here, and as you know, Ty, if you make these right rear too bad, it'll stay hot, and they're hard as hell to drive. And you got to give them a lap or two to cool back down. He's going to collect himself here. He's back to P3. Going to try to run down or get past Mullis. Currently, Jim Caudill is just pulling away a little bit at a time. Got a great battle back here for 5th place is Ryan Doucette, Garrett Gonder, and Devin Morgan in 112, battling for 5th. Doucette's had a hell of a night. He started 8th, currently up to 5th. Gonder's had a good night here as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he started 14th. He's up to 6th. Guys finally got single file here. Coming to 10 to go. Caudill has maintained that gap over Jimmy Mullis. But the only thing you don't want to see now is if you're Caudill is a caution. Probably needs about another 6 laps or so to pretty much guarantee it's the next flag to end it. Mullis is pushing it as he's a little bit loose out of 2. He lost a couple tenths in doing so. Down to 8 to go. Got about 6/10 of a second lead for Jim Caudill Jr. over Jimmy Mullis. Jim Caudill Jr. is what you want. As there's a caution, we're going to have a restart on this. Interesting to see what happens here. Mullis has seen all the restart games that Caudill can play, so he might have his timing down. Don't know who wrecked here. David Kikorian potentially. His front end's all beat to hell, and it wasn't like that. We'll head back and check this out on the SARA TV instant replays. On the outside of Brandon Wilkinson, there's a 96 car there, Warner. We're familiar with him tonight. And it looks like Caudill just kind of pinched him down a little bit. I won't give that one to Warner. God. Then Helm just got into the back on accident of DK. DK just spiked the outside wall. Well, it's going to end the night there for David Kikorian. Had a rough night here.
Well, at least he didn't blow up on lap 35.
Yeah, that's a good point. You had to run more than 25% tape because you didn't have front end damage, did you?
I mean, I don't think I did. I mean, I ran 50% tape, but I never had a problem in practice.
Yeah.
With it, with it running hot. But of course, I wasn't tucked up underneath 10 cars either. So,
yeah, well, you learn.
Right. If we ever come back to this track again, yeah, I'll learn. The question is can you run 50% tape at Five Flags next week? That's what I want to know. Because I don't know yet.
Well, you go ahead and be that guinea pig. I'm going to run 30%. It's a hack. And, but no, I mean, I don't know if you can or not. I don't even want to attempt it, to be honest with you, because basically just what happened to you practice it, and then you go and race, and then put it in the race trim, and then it blows up on you and ruins your night. Five Flags is going to be interesting next week. I know track position is going to be key, but the fact that we can take tires, we don't take tires here at the Sim Auto Racing Association, but the fact that you can do it next week because it's 250 laps, it's going to be interesting to see how that strategy all plays out. Who makes the right call and taking the tires at the right time. But enough about that. We got one race to finish here tonight for the Race 1.US 150 at Irwindale Inner. Let's see if Mullis is able to get off to a good restart, or if Caudell's able to. I mean, the last restart, we went 3 to go. Next flag is going to end it. As Caudell gets back to a good restart. Mullis is able to maintain on the outside. And he's going to get some contact from Canfield. Canfield gets into his right rear. Mullis saves it somehow. Canfield's up to P2. There's no caution. Canfield definitely licked the stamp on that one. He can see the victory right in front of him as we're on the white flag lap. He's sending it for everything that he's got now. It's not going to be enough, though, as Jim Caudell Jr. is going to come away with the victory here tonight. Chris Canfield is going to be P3, and Canfield's going to be P2, and Jimmy Mullis is going to be P3. That's your top three here tonight. Mullis isn't happy with Canfield. Canfield's trying to get away from him. Mullis is going to go ahead and drift it around here and think twice about getting back to him. Jim Caudell Jr. will come away with the victory here tonight in the Race 1.US 150 here in the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. Huge win here tonight for him, closing the point gap. And begins with Mullis getting a little tap from Chris Canfield there. It's actually going to close it even more than what he probably thought.
I don't know. You got to go back and look at that replay. That one's interesting. I don't know if I can call that on the 03.
Well, maybe not. Maybe so. You can be good cop, I'll be bad cop. I know Mullis was taking the high late entry, and Canfield may have filled that spot. From my point of view, it looks like Canfield got into him, but he may have filled that spot, and Mullis kept coming down on him. Potentially, I can see where that could happen. But we'll leave them too. We'll get their. We'll have to ask them about that. And Ty, feel free to ask them. See what they say. We're waiting for them to get out of their cars here. We'll get them pulled down. Canfield's up there. We'll see if Jimmy Mullis pops up here. We'll give him just a second. Yep, he just pulled up there. We'll get him pulled up here to the broadcast portion of it and get a word with him. Jimmy, great run here tonight. You finished P3 and had a good run. Looks like you and Jim Caudell are the class of the field. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your night there, and especially that last restart?
Oh yeah, I felt like we definitely had the car to beat tonight. Jim was on the rails, as usual. So I was just trying to pace myself all race and try to save tires, and I realized that the only way I was going to get to him is if I started running that wide arc that I was running on that last longer run. And I thought I was going to maybe be able to do something with him, but he was just too consistent and smooth and everything. So, hats off to him. He deserved the win for sure. The last restart, though, I have no idea. We went into one, and I got almost turned around, somehow saved it, and, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was a hell of a save that you had there, and luckily you came away from third here tonight, so it really didn't hurt you too much. Caudell was able to close the point gap there, coming away with the win, and like I said, you two guys were super fast, and you definitely got something figured out around here. Now next week we'll be at Five Flags for the fall brawl. Is you think you got anything for that, or what do you look forward to into next week's race?
Well, history, with me and Five Flags has been really good. So hopefully that'll carry over into next Thursday. I think we'll have a really good car. We haven't worked on it much at all yet, so kind of in the beginning stages, trying some different things. But yeah, I think we'll have a really strong race car next week, and hopefully, go get the money.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight. And like I said, hell of a save that you had there towards the end. And next week, I won't be talking to you. I'll be out there trying to beat you. So good luck there to you next week. And, I'll talk to you the week after that.
Hey, good luck to you too. It's going to be fun.
I look forward to it, bud. All right, that's Jimmy Mullis. Like I said, he's current point leader as Jim Caudell Jr. was able to close the gap here with a big victory here tonight. And like I said, next week we'll be at Five Flags, and he's, like I said, historically he's been strong there. So we'll see how he ends up coming away there. Currently we have Chris Canfield up here, finished in P2. Chris, congratulations on your second place finish. Why don't you tell us how your night went?
Thank you guys. Yeah, I started 10th. I really didn't have much practice going into this race, so I was like, I'm not sure if I'm even going to run this race. But, we came here. I got to thank Ryan Matthews for the setup. He did a hell of a job on this thing, getting me to the front, and yeah.
So, Chris, tell me about that last restart. You and Jimmy were going to be battling there, trying to get that second place position. You were there on the inside. What happened in the middle of 1 and 2 there?
Well, honestly, when I went back and watched it, it looked like a racing deal. I came up off the bottom a little bit, and he was pinching me down. So honestly, I think it was a racing deal. I don't think it was my fault nor his fault. I think it's racing and it happens.
Right. So I hope you saw my message to you. Easy in, easy in. I wish I would have told you that. Before the previous caution, because you really had a great car. And I was telling the folks on the broadcast here, I said, I'm telling y'all that 03 is fast. And I said, if he gets up there, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And you were. I know that you kind of ran into turn 3 a little bit hot as you caught. We're catching Jim, and unfortunately got Jimmy up underneath you, but you rebounded great.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, the car didn't really. It just got loose a little bit on the long run, but it was still hauling.
Yeah, now, do you think there's anything that you take away here from tonight? And we asked Jimmy how he feels about going into next week into the fall brawl. Is there anything you think you can take away from last night in the Contender Series, as we had a pretty good battle there last night ourselves, and then even from tonight, and apply it to the fall brawl at Five Flags next week?
From this race, basically what I'm taking is patience. That's what it's all going to be about next week, especially with the 4-tire stop there. So it's strategy too.
All right, bud. Well, good luck to you next week. And before we get you on your way, is there any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody at LeDuc Matthews Racing, Ryan Matthews, Brian Helm, and Justin LeDuc for putting this great car under me. And I'd like to thank Canfield Auto Body for sponsoring me this season.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations here once again, coming away in second place. You put on a hell of a show out here tonight, and good luck to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bud. That's Chris Canfield. Thanks for coming away and second place, but he didn't have enough here tonight for this gentleman that's joining us up here in the booth now, Jim Caudell Jr. Congratulations on your win here tonight for the Race 1.US 150 at Irwindale Inter. Tell us a little bit about your night and how you pretty much dominated the race.
It was a track position deal. Jimmy had a really good car, obviously, as well, and so did Ryan. Chris was coming on at the end, so just kind of being out front, being able to control the restarts was key. It's a lot like Oxford last season, where it kind of worked out where in qualifying started towards the front and kind of was able to control the race. So the car was really good. Jimmy and Cam, those guys, they really got us a good piece this week. So that made it pretty easy too.
Now, is this were you able to pretty much take your Oxford set, maybe make a few adjustments and make it work for you here tonight?
Honestly, I didn't get home and get to practice until about, I don't know, 8:30 or something, and that was the first laps I'd ran here. Probably, I can't remember if I'd ever ran on this configuration, so that'd be a question for Jimmy because he's really the one that put it together. So I probably would venture to bet it wasn't really close to what we ran at Oxford last season. It seems like most of the balance and stuff that we ran this season's been similar in ways, but mostly different from what we ran last year. So I don't know what was under it, to be 100% honest, but I know it handled really good the whole time. So really good in the long run, good short speed too. So it's nice to finally find the speed this season, for at least for me. Jimmy's been really good so far. So yeah, felt good.
Yeah, now you're able to close the point gap there a little bit too, Jimmy, as he ended up finishing third. So you're able to bring that in, reel that in just a little bit. Now next week we're at Five Flags Speedway, and I'm pretty sure you run pretty well there as well. Is there you think you got anything for that big race for the Fall Brawl Spectacular?
I hope so. It's going to be a really fun event. I don't think I've ever got to run this before, so for me it'll be a little bit of a new experience, and good thing it's in a familiar car and racetrack that we ran pretty good at last season. So feel pretty good about it, and we'll get some testing in this week and see where we can get the car and see how it falls next Thursday.
All right. Well, before we get you on your way, is there any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give here tonight for your victory?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank my wife for watching, my sister, mom, Chris, you guys for doing the broadcast, Matt for putting the league on. Really got to thank all the guys at LDR, and really, Jimmy for putting this thing together this week, and Cam for all his help this season. Kind of helped spot for us a little bit tonight, and had that really helped us, because there was a couple times where there's some incidents out in front of us that he could fill us in on what was going on. So yeah, it was a good week for us, and look forward to being back next week for the Fall Brawl.
All right, bud. Well, good luck. Congratulations on your win here tonight, first of all, and good luck to you there next week. And I'll be out there with you next week, so hopefully I can give you all kinds of hell. But like I said, congratulations on your win here tonight and closing the points gap.
Sounds like fun, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right. Jim Caudell Jr., like I said, winner here tonight for the Race1.us 150. And like I said, next week, yours truly and also Clay, he's going to try to attempt, both of us are going to attempt to make the race there. Ty, so we're going to have a new broadcaster up here broadcasting the race. We're going to come out there and race with you guys. And, you usually race well at Five Flags, so I'll go ahead and ask you the question as well, since you're already up here. What do you think? You got anything for a good run at Five Flags, or even for the win?
So I mean, we've found a few things over the past week or so that I'm hoping will do well at Five Flags. So definitely with the help of Jason and of course Majeski's been in, and Joe and myself, we put in a lot of time. Just I won't say really so much for Five Flags in general. I feel like we've been a little bit off this season, so we needed to spend a little bit of time to kind of try some new things and whatnot. So that's it's been pretty good. Now I know that Five Flags back in 2015, I think yep. I led a whole bunch of laps, and thought that I really had that race wrapped up. Went in to take my tires towards the end of the race, and unfortunately, I restarted about 13th or 14th, and my buddy Todd Sipe, who's on our team, got in the wall coming off of 4. He didn't mean to, but he just completely wiped me out. Broke my heart. I had that race won, but hopefully we can have some good things happen, next week. And really, you can be the class of the field next week and make the wrong call on tires, and it just completely screw up your whole race. And, the interesting thing is, even if you look at real life Five Flags, if you look at last year with Ty Majeski, Ty had a great car at Five Flags at the Snowball Derby last year. They made a wrong call on tires. Next thing you know, you're 2 laps down.
Yeah, it can really catch you out. It can be good or it can be bad, and then that's the tough part here. So basically, like I stated before, here at the Sim Auto Racing Association, we don't ever take tires in races. We just don't do it. So what you have is what you have when you start the race, and this is where the wrench gets thrown in here for the Fall Brawl Spectacular as the laps go up for the 250 laps. We're not going to put everyone through that torture and try to do that, on one set of tires. So we go ahead and let guys do a full set of tires. And that's where the wrench gets thrown in. When do you take it and when do you don't? And, what a lot of guys try to do is try to wait as late as possible. Now, with the caliber of drivers that we have here for the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series and SARA as a whole across all 4 nights that we do race, you typically will get long green flag runs. We've seen it here tonight as well, a little bit. So, that race, it's worked in my favor before, and it hasn't worked in my favor before, where I'll wait real late and you drive your way through the field. You feel like Superman when you have it, and you hope it stays green, and then you get hit with that caution, and then everyone else comes in down pit road, and then before you know it, you're a half second off of the pace and everyone's passing you. So it's like you said, you can have the top car. Jim Caudell Jr. could be the class of the field like he was here tonight. Next week at Five Flags, he does the wrong pit strategy, takes his tires too early. Some guys, which has happened before, I think it may even happen to Cody Kelly once before, where they don't pit at all and they try to wait, and that caution never comes out and they never get to use their tires. So it's really going to be interesting to see who makes the right call. And, may have a surprise winner next week. That's why we have almost 60 guys come out, put their entry in, and, they try to walk away with that Fall Brawl Spectacular trophy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, no doubt. I think most everyone in this league and folks who kind of came in and signed up for the race is looking forward to it as well. It's always a big event every year. Matt puts a lot of time into it, and it's always been a wonderfully run show. The only thing I know that Matt wanted to do was, of course, a single car qualifying and broadcast that. But when you got 60 cars, it's a little hard to do that. So. That's at least it'll save us a little bit of time. How about that?
Yeah, a little bit of time on that. That's usually another wrinkle that we like to throw in there for the single car qualifying, which is always super fun to watch. I would love watching it. It's just it would take over an hour to do so, and that can be a little cumbersome for the broadcasting and for people to watch. But good luck to you next week, bud. Hopefully I'm out there with you. Hopefully make it in on time, or if not, maybe work our way through the heats and get out there in the race. And like I said, good luck to you and your posse guys. Good luck to everyone else that's going to end up signing up and going out there. Hopefully we put on a good show. And I know you didn't have as much luck as you wanted to here tonight, but maybe you got it all out of the way, and maybe you'll win it next week.
There we go. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me up here, Ty. You have a good night, bud. And like I said, we'll see you next week. And for everyone else, we'll go ahead and bring up the series sponsors. Give them a quick shout out before we get everyone on their way here. And without these guys, we couldn't do what we do week in and week out. We definitely couldn't do what we're doing next week as well for the Fall Brawl Spectacular. As Matt Rolfe stated, we've got over $1,200 in cash and prizes. That is no joke. That goes out. There's not 1 cent of that money that sticks around with the league. We are a nonprofit company. Everything goes out the door that comes in. So Sim Marketing Solutions, like I said, the sponsor in tonight's series, the invite-only Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. H&H Sign Supply, who is sponsoring the Fall Brawl Spectacular for the 4th year in a row, as we've been doing it for 4 years at Five Flag Speedway next week. You got Davis Chassis Works, who sponsors our Wednesday night contender series for the super late models. So if you're interested in signing up for that, you like what you've seen here tonight, go to RaceSARA.com, sign up there, or go to the Sim Auto Racing Association Facebook page. You can sign up there as well. Hides Pride Leather and Sheepskin, which brings me up to our Hides Pride head-to-head throwdown. Brian Matthews came away with the victory for that, so he's going to earn a little cash in his pocket as he finished 4th. And the guy who he's battling with that was Dallas Patasco, who finished 9th. Midwest Power Source Inc., Callaway Investments, who sponsors our modified series on Tuesday night. You'll go to the RaceSARA.com or Sim Auto Racing Association's Facebook page to sign up for that if you want as well. Race1.us, who sponsor tonight's race. Like I said, go to their Facebook page and check out their retro t-shirts that they have there. They got some pretty nice stuff that you can get. They had a deal going on there for 3 for $33. It's a hell of a deal. And definitely go check those guys out. Thanks for sponsoring tonight's race. And they also sponsor our Dirt Night, Race1.us Dirt Nights on Monday nights, which is presented by JB Trucking. Ty Spearman for Salty Hooks. Go check him out on YouTube. He's got some pretty cool videos. You can go subscribe to him, see what he's all about. Obviously, it's about some fishing, as you see with his logo there. The Hub Used Sim Racing Giveaway, Harding Motorsports Supply, Canfield Auto Body, it's Chris Canfield's crew there that's helped sponsoring the league this year, JB Trucking. And then you got the RBRC and the Russell Brown race cars. Well, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Jim Caudell Jr. came in with a huge victory in dominating fashion here in the Race1.us 150 at Irwindale Inner. Able to close that gap on Jimmy Mullis. Chris Canfield came in second. Mullis came in third. And like I said, next week is the 4th annual H&H Sign Supply Fall Brawl Spectacular at Five Flags Speedway. And then in a couple weeks, we'll be back on air for the Salty Hooks 150 at Martinsville Speedway. I am your host here tonight, Derek Robinson. Producer is Clay Snyder. Thanks for hanging in there with us and all our technical difficulties. We will get those ironed out before the Martinsville race. And like I said, tonight you were able to see a great battle here at the Irwindale Inner Speedway. And next week is our big one. We'll still be broadcasting that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the SARA TV YouTube page. Go ahead and hit that notification there as well so you'll know exactly when we're going live so you can catch all the super late model action that comes on here for SARA TV. Like I said, thanks again for joining us here tonight. Big winner, Jim Caudell Jr. See if he's able to back it up again next week at Five Flags for the Fall Brawl Spectacular. For everyone else, thank you and have a good night. This is SARA TV. We'll see you in a couple weeks.